Dun, 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 dun. Right, weekly debrief. So, it's Good Friday today. Yes, well, it is for me anyway. So, for you, it'll be Sunday. So, Easter Sunday, I will be sitting down and eating food with family at some point. So, we'll get on to the debrief. So, the debrief goes from Monday, the 14th of April, through to Thursday, the 17th. Yes, 4-day week again. And next week is also a 4-day week for most people, but I am actually working Monday because I'm off to Scotland. It's 11 o'clock start, so not too bad. But more about that next week. Right, this week, let's get into it. We started at 4 a.m. and we left the yard. And we run across to Gore Cross, which is the industrial estate up the road in Bridport, to collect one of our trailers. And then we run that all the way to Coventry. Yes. To unload, and then once we've done that, we run to Redditch, yes, to collect steel pieces, which then went to Yeovil to Solarport to be unloaded. They didn't unload it at that time, so we dropped the trailer there at Solarport, and then I drove solo all the way back home here. So, home for the night, which was lovely. We finished at 6:15 p.m, parked up, and walked up the road to the house, which is lovely. We worked a total of 14 hours and 15 minutes on Monday. Monday. We drove 8 hours and 22 minutes, and we done a total of 360 miles. Yes, that was Monday. Monday was quite a nice, easy, simple day. Tuesday, we started at 5:20 a.m. I run from here back up to Yeovil. Hitched back up to the trailer. They unloaded it at 6 o'clock, and then reloaded it with steel work. And then I took that all the way up to the solar site in Newent again. Yeah, so we got that up there. Got that dropped off. Dom was already there when I got there. And then Chris turned up literally a few minutes after me. So he had to wait until I was unloaded. So he was there quite a while. Once we got that off, we then run to Stourbridge to load 3 packs of steel piles. That's it. The metal ones, not the ones inside. Yeah. So we run then to Oswestry to Shropshire galvanising, dropped those 3 packs off, and then reloaded a further 17 packs of the same thing but galvanised, and then that had to go to a solar site east. So we run from Oswestry to Tamworth. That's it. We got to Tamworth Tuesday night. That's it. And we parked up at 6:50 p.m. We drove a total of 7 hours 42 minutes. We worked a total of 13.5 hours, and we drove 294 miles. I could have got all the way to the solar site that night, but obviously near Peterborough can be a little bit risky parking up around there. So Tamworth was a safe bet, so we parked there. Not any problems there. So yeah. So we started at 6 a.m. Oh yeah, plus the solar sites don't normally open until about 8 o'clock as well, so there's no point in getting too close. So we started at 6 o'clock, run from Tamworth to Huntingdon to solar site. Once we was unloaded, we then run back to Stourbridge, loaded 5 more packs of steel piles. Was it 5? I remember what it was. No, it was 8. It was 8 packs of. I don't know why I've written 5 on it. Let's change that because it was 8 packs we took. 5. Silly me. So we took 8 packs of steel piles, took them to Shropshire Galvanising in Oswestry, however you pronounce it. Unloaded them, and then reloaded the 3 packs I dropped off the day prior that have then been galvanised, and again we were going back to that same solar site, so we parked up in Tamworth again for the night. So it was pretty much rinse and repeat sort of day. So we stopped again at 7 p.m. We worked a total of 13 hours on the dot. Drove for 8 hours and 5 minutes, and we done a total of 318 miles. That was Wednesday, nice and easy. And then we move on to Tuesday, which was even easier. So Tuesday, we started at 6:30 a.m. because I couldn't get my ass out of bed. I was going to start at 6, but slept in a bit. So we run from Tamworth to Huntingdon, the solar site again. That was great. Got that unloaded. Then from there, we went to Wisbeach to go collect a load of timber posts and then run them all the way back to the yard. That was it. Once we got back to the yard, dropped the trailer, topped up AdBlue, washed the truck, and went home. Worked a total of 13 hours and 30 minutes, drove 9 hours 43, and a total of 366 miles. There was a lot of traffic yesterday. I lost about 45 minutes in traffic in total, so Quite a busy old day. That was just on the way back, actually. I lost 20 minutes in the morning as well, so we probably lost an hour and 5 minutes in total in traffic. It was absolute carnage on the roads yesterday. Everyone driving too close to each other, which means they all then drive too slow, and then, yeah, holds me up, get stuck in traffic, and I risk not getting home when I'm supposed to. But it is what it is, and we got back. So, lovely. Right, that was that. That was our week. Nice and simple week, really. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, off today, Friday, so we are back in on Monday, 11 a.m., sorry, to go run up towards Scotland, which will be filmed for several weeks in the future. So we will get on to viewers' questions. If you would like to have a question asked on the channel, or if you'd like to ask if you would like to ask a question and I will answer it on the channel for you, then leave it in the comments below and I will answer it to the best of my abilities. It doesn't necessarily have to be about trucking, could be about anything. It could be about the collection of Lego I have. I don't know, ask me anything you want. Actually, don't ask me about my collection of Lego. Most of it's in the loft and I can't remember half of what I got. But I do have the Lego Mack truck up there. I do have a Lego pickup truck there. I have a Lego cement mixer there. And I have a Lego train and a Lego truck and excavator or whatever in the bedroom that's ready to be built. I might build one of them on the stream one day. That'll be fun. What do you reckon? Anyway, let's get on to our first viewer question of the week. It's also your way of getting a shout out, by the way. So, the first question comes from Tom Winter. He says, "Hi, mate. You said 58-hour max allowed to work in a week. Am I being stupid? I was sure it was 60 hours. Love the vids, mate." Yes, you are being stupid. No, what I said was because I'd done 4 days, the maximum I was allowed to work in them 4 days without a split rest would have been 58 hours. So it would have been a 15-hour, 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 which is 45, and then a 13-hour day, which would have been made 58. So that would have been my maximum amount of hours I could have worked for 4 days. The maximum you are allowed to work is 60 hours in a week, but that's not gospel. Obviously, I quite regularly go over 60 hours. The reason being is that anytime you have a break, that does not count towards your weekly working time. So anytime you're on break or POA, so say if you're on break for 3 hours and have a 3-hour split rest, that 3 hours is deducted from your total 60 hours of the week. So yeah, that's how it works. Your maximum is 60 hours, but that's 60 hours of full-on working. So yeah. If you work 65 hours, but you've had 7 hours break, you're still allowed to work for 2 more hours to make it up to 60. So that's how that works. So yeah. It was literally just, I mean, if I had a split rest one days, I could have worked 60 hours that week. Easy. So yeah, it is what it is. So that's how the hours work anyway. I hope that makes somewhat sense to you. Question number 2 from Joe Foley. You asked, how are you liking the 530 compared to the 460, 480? I think the last one was 70 extra horses must make a difference. Yeah, it does. It's pulling up the hills. It's still, it's still going to struggle. It's a lot of weight to pull at the end of the day. These things ain't light. But the 530 does make a lot of difference. I find it's better at maintaining speed up a hill rather than pulling away up a hill, if you know what I mean. So yeah, it definitely makes a difference, but at the end of the day, horsepower in a diesel doesn't really make much sense. I mean, it makes sense, but horsepower in a diesel isn't what it's about. It's about the torque. It's the torque difference. So it may only have a 70 horsepower difference, but it has a 300 newton meter of torque difference. So that's where it comes into play really with diesels. It's all about the torque. Because I think the 460s are 2,300 newton meters of torque. I think the 480s are 2,350 newton meters of torque, and then in 12th gear it's 2,500. And then with the 530, I think it's 2,600 newton meters of torque. So that's where it really, that's the key figure there. Really, horsepower isn't really much of a thing with diesels. There we go. Dog's having a dream on the floor. I wonder what that noise was. There's a claw scratching on the floor. He's just down there having a snooze. Look. Where is he? Can't see him because I'm in the way. There he is. Right, Pooch. I've just woke him up. He's right behind me. There he is. Hey, Pooch. Right, messed my camera up now. Oh, no. I've ruined everything. So, I'm hoping to get a new door on here at some point soon. So once I get a new door put on it, because this one's little bit leaky, and the floor down there is all sort of bulged up a bit. So, got a new door to fit on at some point. Yeah. So we'll get that done. Once I've got that done, I'll put a curtain on there, and then it will stop the massive glare of light zooming into the camera. So put up with it for a little bit longer till I get time. Right, question number 3 from Trucking Lee. My question for the week is: when you drive your truck, is it required to wash your vehicle every week, or how do you find places to wash them? Are they on an app? I wash up mine in the yard. Some companies will have a thing that says you have to wash the truck every week. You know, you'll generally find that with some fancy trucks out there. They'll want you to clean it every week. With us, you know, we're given time on a Friday to wash it if we get back in time. It's not mandatory that we do it, because obviously we do finish late sometimes, and we don't want to be there at 10 p.m. at night washing it. And obviously, if we're out of hours, then you really can't anyway. So it's down to where you work, really, what they have for you. Obviously, we have a wash bay. We have like washing equipment in the yard, so wash it in the yard. My boss will let us use money for expenses to have the trucks washed, as long as it's not like extortionate. Some places are cheaper than others, obviously. But as we have stuff in the yard, then we wash in the yard. Simple as that. Some places will give you an allowance to wash your truck in truck washes. I think InTruck, which is an app, I think that tells you if places have a truck wash. I'm not entirely sure. Some services have them, like Taunton Northbound has a truck wash. I think Tib Shelf has a truck. Is it Tib Shelf? I think it's Tib Shelf has a truck wash. And there's various ones dotted all around the country, and that you soon sort of learn where they are. There's one up near Lim, and I don't know. There's various ones dotted all over the country. I don't know them all, but yeah, you just sort of figure them out as you drive around. It's up to your company whether they pay for you to have it done or not. If your company requires you to wash a truck but expects you to pay for it out your own pocket, then I wouldn't work for that company, because that's a bit arse-ish of them. There you go. I hope that answers some of your question. Question number 4 from Matt DVC. If you could only choose one, and why? Either there's no more van drivers on the road, or people suddenly know how to properly merge join motorways from a slip road. Well, that's an easy one, really. I wish people would suddenly know how to properly merge from a slip road for a motorway, dual carriageway, whatever, because that would make it a little bit safer, rather than have people just dive out or be right next to you and then suddenly expect you to move over. It's like, no, it doesn't work like that. At the end of the day, we know van drivers can be a bit of a menace on the road. I know I used to be one, and I was definitely a menace. At the end of the day, we just do still need them to do the deliveries that obviously us trucks can't get to. So, yeah, we do still need van drivers as much as we do trucks. Right. Question number 5 comes from Campbell W. My late dad was a truck driver for over 40 years, ran everywhere in the UK, so hardly seen him when I was a kid. His legs eventually packed in, climbing up and down the steps of the truck, or tractor even, sorry. May I be nosy and ask what happened to your arm? So you're on about my arm there, which has got my massive, sorry, the light's sort of glare on it. So I've got my massive scar on my arm, as you can see. It's quite brutal. Yep, that was from a car accident. I do actually have a video of that arm in hospital, but I'm not going to show that because it'll be a bit gory for the thing. You've moved your bed, didn't you? Moved your bed. What, lay down there. He had a haircut last week, and now he thinks he's top dog again. So yeah, that accident happened in 2005. Me and my mate Matt were having a bit of a jolly in the car. We were driving around all the rural villages near Andover, and we going down from, I can't remember the village up the top of the hill. But we're going down towards the Fox pub in Tangley, and at the top of the hill there's an adverse camber corner. As I come round the corner, my front tyre blew out, lost control of the car. Apparently I caught the slide, but there was a great big tree there, and I just went smack straight into it. Airbag went off, knocked me unconscious. All my knuckles are all scarred up on that hand. You probably can't see on the camera. Got all scars on them knuckles. See there? Because my hands obviously come off the steering wheel and punched the windscreen. So that hand was all bandaged up, that arm was all bandaged up. And as we hit the tree, the car went on its side and slid down the road. And obviously, where I was unconscious, my arm just flopped and slid down the road on my arm in all the tarmac and glass and stuff. And yeah, luckily, didn't cut any of my tendons and that. I know that because I could see him moving in my arm. It was pretty cruel. So yeah, that was fun. Don't remember too much about it. Last thing I remember is probably about half a mile up the road because we locked up coming up to a corner, and at that point I think I backed off a little bit because we were driving a bit enthusiastically, we'll say. But when the actual crash come up, it was just unfortunate we had a blowout, and I was driving within the speed limit as far as I can remember. My mate Matt said I was, and I can't remember, to be fair. So I remember. I can't remember now. I remember him saying something to me. I remember the tyre blowing up, and I was like, "Oh, there goes a tyre." I remember Matt saying something along the lines of "Your car's on fire," and I'm like, "Oh, that's not good," or something. I don't know. I remember a policeman asking me to do a breathalyzer test, but I don't remember actually doing it. This is how bad concussion is for that. That's just from the airbag. I think my mate Matt had a go at him. It's like, we don't drink. I didn't drink at the time. Very rarely did. But obviously it's just mandatory for them to do it. I think he was having a bit of a go at the policeman about that. I remember one of the paramedics asking me to hold my arm up. I remember that. Obviously he's swelling, blood flow and whatever. I remember I lost one shoe, Matt lost the other shoe. Quite gutted about that because they were Adio Bam V2s. They were purple and amazing. I love them shoes. I think I lost the left shoe and he lost the right one or something like that. Quite funny. Then I remember being in the ambulance and sort of just smiling at Matt or something. I can't remember what we were doing. For me, the ambulance journey felt like 2 minutes, but Matt said apparently it was like 30 odd minutes or something. He said it took forever because they had to try and turn the ambulance around in the lane and there wasn't much room. I remember being pushed in the doors for the hospital. My mum was stood there crying, and I was like, "It's okay, mum, 'tis but a flesh wound." Monty Python that. Then I was in a bed on gas and air. I remember that. That was magical. I was like watching my hand. I was like, I was wasted at that point. Morphine and whatever. Then I remember my mate Matt's dad come in. And I was like, "Alright, mate." And I was on the gas at this time. I was like, "This does really good." Bearing in mind, I've never done anything like that in my life. And then I remember them scrubbing all the glass and stuff out of my arm, and that's when I sort of moved my fingers and watched the tendons move, which was pretty cool. Yeah, and then I went and had an X-ray and that, and I started sort of coming around a bit more, and then yeah, the rest is history. So yeah, car accident. That was it. A bit of a long-winded way to explain that, but there you go. There's the full thing. I'll show you a video now of the car that Matt filmed.
Have the insurance company been around yet to look at it, do you know?
I know they have phoned up and they'll have a look at it.
There's really not much left to look at, really. Unbelievable that I got out of this. It was gone in like a minute. I just saw the flames and pulled them out, and it was within 2 minutes the whole thing was gone. Yeah. He can't remember a single thing. I'm the only one who knows about the accident. No, the police or insurance company haven't phoned me up yet. Don't know.
So as you can see, that's a very poor quality video. Obviously, camera phones back then were very, very new and very, very poor quality. I think it was a Nokia. It was one of the first camera phones we had. So yeah, way before iPhones and that. So yeah, the car was pretty screwed. Lucky I survived. Oh yeah, the car caught fire pretty much instantly as we went over as well, and Matt dragged me out through the passenger side door, which was up in the air. So he was my hero. Got a picture somewhere. Yeah, so that's what happened to my arm. Mad car accident back in 2005. mainly due to the tyre going on me, which I knew about, but I had to wait till Monday for my next pay to be able to afford a new tyre to put on it. So, yeah, more for me for driving it still with a slow puncher. There you go. Live and learn, as they say. Right! That was a bit long-winded, that one, but hopefully that answers it for you. We will move on to car of the week. We'll make this very quick. Not much out there. There was a Mustang on the back of a trailer, which was really cool, but I didn't have a bloody clue which one it was, so I can't really say that. If I could figure out which one it was, then I would have chose that. But on Thursday, we saw a R34 Nissan Skyline GTT, which was very, very nice, something that sticks out. So that was our car of the week. Lovely little thing. Wouldn't mind one of them. I bet they are mega bucks. Not as much as the GTRs, but yeah. I didn't do my weekly totals, did I? We'll do that now. So my weekly totals for the week. We drove a total of 1,338 miles. We put in 607.23 litres of fuel. I pretty much have an empty tank in the yard at the moment. Got to fill that up Monday. And we worked a total of 54 hours and 15 minutes. That was that. Right, we will move on to the next segment, which is Mayhem on the Roads. So, when I was coming from Oswestry towards Tamworth on the A5 before it was between Oswestry and Shropshire, sorry. There was I was barreling down the road at the speed limit, and this car pulls out from a turn, and that's fine. And then the Scania that was behind him just carries on and pulls out as well. So I had to slam the anchors on a little bit, as you can see in the clip. Couldn't believe he done that. It's like, could you not see me barreling down the road at 50 mile an hour? And then literally on the same bit of road, about probably a couple of miles down the road, this bloke sort of starts walking across the road. He does that little 3-step thing where you sort of make it look like you're going on, then he just goes into a nice slow stroll. It's like, hi, big truck barreling down in front of you. Why are you just slowing down? Keep going. So yeah, obviously he wanted to get run over that day, but we did slow down a bit. Missed him. Quite annoying, so I was starting to climb up a hill, and I was like, I want to keep my speed up there. Power Nave just made me slam the brakes on a bit. So yeah, that was Mayhem on the Road. Wallies everywhere. Right, so we'll get on to the last segment now. Favourite comment of the week. From Mr. Chris Patterson. It says, hi Jono, I recognised where that first potato drop is. We used to have holidays in Kingsand and Corsands. After coming off the Tall Point Ferry, go past the lay-by and take the left turn. Yeah. Ex-Class 2 multi-drop driver, 15 years, got made redundant, and then odd job man for 10 years, now retired. Brings back memories watching your videos. Well, I'm very glad that my videos do bring back memories for you. It's nice to see places you've been to and that on videos and that, or see how it's changed over the years. And that's part of what this is about. It helps people sort of remember things. It brings you back happy memories, and I've done a good job. So thank you very much for that comment. I like the fact that I can help people relive some memories, and that it's quite a nice feeling that people are happy with it. So yeah. Right, that's it for this week. If you enjoyed it, obviously watch next week's one. That's fine. Vlog out tomorrow, which is Monday. I can't remember which one that is. Something. Yeah, I can never remember anything. That's the problem with films so far advanced. It's difficult to remember stuff. But, yeah, it's a good one. Watch it. Whatever it is. So, yeah, take it easy. Look after yourself. Drive safely. Thanks for trucking around with Jono, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. Support the cause in the Doghouse Podcast. Come back.